So Shahid Adnan had a nice little side hustle going. The 43-year-old Amazon driver from Liverpool secretly sat online university exams for students, charging around £250 a pop. He did it for at least 124 people and hid over £2 million across his accounts. Then one of his customers accidentally handed a lecturer a USB stick with all of Shahid's secret files on it. And just like that, the whole empire came crashing down. Let me back up, because this one is honestly a thing of beauty. By day, Shahid drove for Amazon Flex around Liverpool, dropping off parcels, ringing doorbells, the whole gig economy life. Totally normal. The kind of guy you'd never look at twice. He had the van, the app, the route, the lot. To anyone watching, he was just another driver grinding through a shift. But on the side, he was running something a lot more ambitious. He had a private tutoring firm called Study Sharp, and officially, that's all it was. A little business helping students with their studies. Helping them learn. Helping them improve. Except that's not what Study Sharp actually did. What Shahid was really running was a nationwide exam cheating operation. Students would come to him, and instead of teaching them anything, he'd just do the work for them. He sat their online university exams personally, logging in as them, answering the questions, the whole thing. He wrote their coursework. He wrote their term papers. You name it, Shahid would produce it for a fee. And students paid up. Think about what that takes, by the way. He wasn't just guessing at multiple choice questions. He was sitting full university-level exams across loads of different subjects, for loads of different people, and apparently doing well enough that nobody flagged it for years. The man was effectively a one-person education system, just pointed in entirely the wrong direction. Imagine being smart enough to pass that many degrees and choosing to do it as a crime, instead of, just getting a degree. And the online exam era handed him the perfect setup. No exam hall. No invigilator standing over your shoulder. No ID check at the door. Just a login screen and a webcam you could point wherever you liked. For a guy with Shahid's nerve, that was an open door. The student sends over their details. Shahid signs in as them from his own home, and the university on the other end has no idea the person typing the answers is a delivery driver in Liverpool they've never met. Now, 250 quid per exam might not sound like a fortune, but this man was a machine. He helped at least 124 students across universities all over the UK. One single customer reportedly paid him around £14,000. So we're not talking about a guy helping his mate cheat on one test. We're talking about a full-blown industry run out of the front seat of a delivery van. And business was good. Really good. Shahid started living the part. Expensive cars. Foreign travel. The lifestyle of a man who was very much not making delivery driver money. Which, if you think about it, is exactly the kind of thing that gets you noticed. But for a while, nobody was looking. Why would they? He's just an Amazon driver with a little tutoring company on the side. Meanwhile, the money kept piling up, and the figures got absurd. When investigators went through his finances, they found more than £2.4 million spread across his accounts. There was around £1.5 million sitting in a Barclays account, roughly $600,000 in a personal Lloyd's account, another $245,000 or so in a Lloyd's business account, and about $110,000 more in PayPal, from doing other people's homework. Genuinely, that is more money than most people see in a lifetime of honest work, and Shahid built it answering quiz questions for strangers he had never even met. So how did this delivery driving academic mastermind finally get caught? It was a USB stick. a single careless USB stick. Back in early 2023, a computer forensics student at Liverpool John Moores University handed in a USB drive to one of his lecturers. Completely ordinary. Students hand in work all the time. But this particular USB drive happened to contain a little something extra. It had Shahid's own files on it. Not the student's coursework, but Shahid's personal stuff. We're talking usernames, passwords, and detailed financial records. The whole operation sitting right there on a drive that one of his paying customers accidentally handed straight to a university lecturer. A lecturer who, of all the subjects in the world, taught computer forensics. The exact person trained to look at a hard drive and immediately understand what he was staring at. I mean, you could not script worse luck if you tried. The forensics expert opens the drive expecting student work, and instead finds the master key to an entire cheating empire. The logins, the money, the names, all of it. Of all the lecturers, of all the subjects, of all the random USB sticks in the world, this one lands in front of the person whose entire job is digging secrets out of storage devices. Some people have all the luck. Shahid had the exact opposite, and that was it. That was the thread that unraveled the whole thing. Once the university and investigators started pulling on it, the scale of what Shahid had been doing came into full view. The fake tutoring company. The 124 students. The exams sat under false names. The millions hidden in his accounts. All of it laid bare because someone couldn't keep their files straight on a memory stick. If you're enjoying this one, do me a favor and subscribe. I dig up stories like this every single week. Now, Shahid's case landed at Liverpool Crown Court, and the charges were not light. He was facing fraud by false representation for pretending to be students he wasn't. Unauthorized access to a computer system for logging into all those university accounts that weren't his. And converting criminal property, which is the formal way of saying money laundering. Because all that lovely exam cash had to go somewhere, and Shahid had been busy moving it around. The court used a figure of £300,000 as his direct criminal profit for sentencing purposes, even though the total parked across his accounts was way higher than that. And there are proceeds of crime proceedings still to come, which is the legal process where they try to claw back what he actually made. So this story isn't quite finished on the money side. He may yet have to hand a big chunk of it back. The judge, a recorder named Andrew Vinson, didn't mince words. He described the operation as prolonged and sophisticated, which, fair enough, it was. The man ran this for years and built genuine systems around it. He also said Shahid had been led down a dark path. The judge framed him as someone who'd started small and just kept going until it became this enormous, organized fraud machine. And then he handed him 3 years. 3 years for a man who turned cheating into a multi-million-pound business from behind the wheel of a delivery van. When you sit with it, the whole thing is almost impressive in the wrong way. The ambition. The volume. 124 students is not a side project. That's a workforce of clients. He became a one-man diploma mill, except instead of selling fake degrees, he was selling real ones earned by the wrong person. And none of the clever stuff is what got him. Not the police following the money. Not some big surveillance sting. Not a tip-off from a rival. It was one of his own customers being careless with a USB stick. The exact kind of sloppiness Shahid was being paid to cover up for these students ended up being the thing that buried him. There's something almost poetic about it, if you ask me. A man whose entire business was helping people fake competence, undone by a single moment of someone else's incompetence. He spent years making sure no exam ever went wrong, no paper ever got flagged, no login ever got traced. And then a paying client just walks a drive full of his secrets into a forensics classroom and hands it to the one professor on Earth who'd know exactly what he was looking at. You really do wonder how many students out there are now sitting at home with degrees they didn't earn, hoping nobody ever pulls that thread further. Because if Shahid kept records this detailed on himself, you have to imagine there are a lot of names in those files. And that's a lot of nervous people checking their email every morning, wondering if a knock on the door is coming. And those universities are presumably not thrilled either. Every exam Shahid sat is a qualification that now means nothing. Every paper he wrote is a credential built on a lie. Some of these people may have already graduated. Some might be working in real jobs right now off the back of work they never did. That's the part that lingers. The fraud didn't just end with Shahid. It scattered out into the world, wearing 124 different faces. Every fake grade he produced is still out there somewhere, attached to a real person who got something they never earned. For now, though, the man at the center of it is exactly where he should be. The Amazon driver who built a cheating empire one logged-in exam at a time, brought down by the most ordinary object imaginable. Not a wire. Not a warrant. A USB stick someone forgot to wipe. If there's a lesson in here, it's that the people selling shortcuts always end up needing one themselves. And Shahid, for all his planning, never saw the simplest mistake coming. More stories like this on the channel.